Welcome back to the Stockwell Roche Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
Jason Light with Envoy Mortgage, before I forget, and MLS number 17256.
Awesome. We do have a lawyer in here, so you might want to be totally
Cover my tracks.
Thank you. We have Robin Hartle in studio with us and Susie King. Thanks so much for being here, Susie and Robin. Susie is our expert with Moss and Barnett talking about estate planning. Very, very valuable information, some touching stories, and also reasons why you should definitely think of or have a plan in place. And, you know, if you're in your 30s, 40s, Susie, I mean, it's something that we're so, like myself, I'm so focused on other things, and I'm not at the point where I think I'm going to hopefully not pass anytime soon.
Yeah.
So it's not a top of mind. So,
of course.
Right.
And there's this just belief that the minute you sign a will or a trust, you're doomed the next day to get hit by a car.
It's like buying that cemetery plot.
Exactly.
I'm not going to buy that.
Exactly. But no, I mean, that being healthy is a prime time to do it. You know, and it's, in the cheesy way, it is a gift to your spouse. It is a gift to your kids to get it taken care of, have the documents in place so that there isn't, you know, if something were to happen, that the family can focus on dealing or grieving with something like that, not wrapping up your legal affairs.
It's not necessarily a gift. I would call it more of a favor.
A favor,
I mean,
exactly.
absolutely. It's the last thing that you want to put on somebody else.
Well, yeah.
And have them
Exactly.
have to deal with. So Susie King, Moss and Barnett, what are the top three estate planning documents that people need, that you feel that people should have?
Regardless of your situation, financial situation, health, first, a power of attorney. That's a document that allows an individual to make financial decisions on your behalf while you're alive if you're unable to. A healthcare directive, similar to a power of attorney, but allows an individual to make medical decisions on your behalf, and either a will or a trust to make to determine where your assets are going to go on your death.
And you do not, folks, you do not have to be a millionaire or a billionaire to have this or need this, right? This is, we're talking anybody making, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100,000 a year, have some money put away, but they're not millionaires, right? These
Of
just
course.
regular
Yes,
people
yes.
all around need this.
Everyone, regardless of assets, should have these
So
documents.
power of attorney, health directive, and a will
or a trust.
or a trust. Those are the top three things that you need out there. Great information there. And then question I had too is, what are the top circumstances, maybe the top three circumstances why you might need a estate situation?
I'd say the circumstances in which clients come to me, one, birth of a child. Hands
Okay.
down, that's probably number one.
Or the third child.
Or the third. Details.
Yes.
Or loss of a parent and going through the
yeah.
administration of a parent and seeing their documents or lack thereof has a tendency to awaken people. Change in medical or financial situation. You know, everyone having a circumstance that you get scared and realize, you know, there's a close call as to whether you can make these decisions. It's a prime time.
Awesome. So those are great times, but also but before those happen, some of those times might be good too, especially if changing circumstances of health or passing of a loved one.
Of course.
That would be a good time.
There's nothing more than I love when I have clients come to me and they've got nothing going on. And we can just
It's not
sit
a
down.
dilemma.
It's not a
problem.
crisis.
Yeah.
We can just sit down and have a conversation and get the documents in place.
Robin Hartle, you had a good question on break about with so many blended families,
Yeah,
right?
blended families. I mean, there's so many non-traditional families out there now
Of
where
course.
where there's stepchildren involved. One owns a home and they get married, and then the other person and their kids then join that person in the home, and maybe that home is still just in one person's name. And, you know, how do things get passed on when they're stepkids and that kind of stuff? What if there's no will, and can that be messy? And
Oh, of course. I mean, you know, I would say that's a common scenario of friction in the estate and trust administration. You know, a majority of my practice is doing estate and trust administration after someone dies. And when you don't have a clear-cut path as to what the surviving spouse is entitled to, those children from a prior marriage it's not always rosy between.
It can get ugly, right?
It can, and
Yeah.
so sitting
That's what
down.
you see on TV sometimes.
and you can't.
Reality shows.
It is.
Let's not have one of those.
Or the tabloids talking about
and those common discussions are necessary, forcing the issues of, okay, husband, if you die, does wife get to stay in the house that's in your name?
Yeah.
And if so,
Oh, yeah.
if so,
That's not fun stuff to talk about,
No,
though, when you're
it's
in.
not.
I mean, it's.
and especially in Minnesota, where everything's supposed to be all warm and fuzzy, and it's
But you
not.
don't want to get to that point where he's gone and now she's going to get kicked out or something like
exactly.
that.
And it's so and I say to clients, if anything motivates you, it's so much more expensive to figure those things out after you die than sitting down and having the conversations.
Yeah, that's good. Great advice. And that, yeah, very, very.
Do it now.
Hopefully, you're getting it, folks, and learning, and hopefully, this motivates some of you to reach out and ask your questions and maybe talk with loved ones. Maybe you're dealing with a situation right now where you're right in it right now, like Jason and Robin, where what do you do, or is there any way to work through this now? But that's wonderful information about that. And the blended family thing can be very, very tricky.
Or maybe, you just got married to somebody that had been married before and they have kids. If you've gotten that situation, then you
Of
better
course.
address this right now.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
The bottom line is if you have a family and loved ones, people you care about,
right.
do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take care of it.
If you want to read, so we started the show off with the topic changes to Minnesota state tax for non-residents and how it's how it's going to change. We got into some of the details and the numbers and all. There's a lot of numbers and a lot of statutes, I suppose, with this. But I would encourage you to go, if you're interested in that and want to know about those details, go to our Facebook page or YouTube, or go to the website, lawmoss.com, LAWMOSS.com, and you can actually find that whole article there, and it's the wonderful information, and it actually prompted me to call because it is something that you need help with. It's not, that you need to reach out and say, hey, what do we do? Here's our personal situation, because you need an expert actually handling that. Susie, right? I mean, it's an overload of information, and and every situation is so unique.
Yep.
Well,
Exactly.
and one of the things that we didn't talk about, people that just got married. I mean, maybe they haven't had their children yet, but they go out and they buy their first home. How many times have you had that, Jason, where, you're working with people that are first-time home buyers and they just got married 6 months ago or whatever, and they're buying their first home? This should be, as real estate agents, something that, we do the homestead thing. You're sitting at closing, you're going through all the things. Oh, you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. Estate planning should be the next packet that you hand these people and say, you just bought your first home, you just got married. This is something you should think about as well.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And disclaimer, we're not attorneys, Robin or myself.
No.
So we're not practicing law. We are practicing real estate, not law. But, so any other, Susie, we have a minute left. Any other things you want to say that might be helpful or useful, or anything else that we didn't cover that might be good?
Again, I would just reiterate, just by talking about your estate plan does not mean you will die the next day. I promise. I promise.
Just get over the superstition.
Yes, I promise.
She's got the little 4-leaf clover or
I
whatever
do.
that's in the packet.
Yeah. Awesome.
She didn't knock on wood.
That's right.
My legs are crossed.
Well, thanks, Robin Hartle for your input, and Jason Light, obviously, thanks for being here all the time, and Susie King, thanks again.
Of course, thank
find all the
you.
information on the Stockwell Roche Show Facebook page. Go to tcrealestatehour.com, and you'll find it there as well. And thanks again, everybody. I'm Jason Stockwell with RE/MAX Results.
And Jason Light with Envoy Mortgage.
Remember, love yourself and love others. Have a great week, folks.